Hello, hi, and welcome. I am Wild Chevy, and you are watching the Atomic Salt Live Show. Once again, I am joined by Rocket Yeti. Rocket Yeti, how's it going today?
Oh, it is going great this evening. How are you doing, Wild Chevy?
I am doing good. It's a good week.
Well, you should be feeling good. You're 1 year older now, aren't you? I won't tell everybody
That's
what
what
your
the.
actual birthday is, but it's within the last few days.
Yes, I did experience a birthday this week, uh, according to the manufacturer date at least.
So you're out of warranty now?
Yeah, so you hit that 100,000 miles and everything starts breaking down.
It's not the years, it's the miles, I'll tell you. Well, you get to be an old bearded gamer now, like the rest of us.
Yeah, but I'm not doing the chin beard thing. I'll never do the chin beard.
Oh, come on.
Just not my style. So, Casey, what have you been playing this week?
Uh, this week I didn't actually play any miniature games, but we did some board gaming. That was actually for your birthday party. So played a couple of good games. We played Pandemic. If anybody else has played that one before, it's a cooperative game. If you haven't, I highly recommend it. It's not overly expensive. It's not too complicated, but it is brutally, brutally hard. Would you agree?
Oh, very much so. It's very hard to win. I see it's very challenging and very random.
Yeah, we had four people. Well, we had a fifth player kind of jump in and out, but right from the very start, there's no throwaway moves in this game. You have to plot everything out. So you have to be very, very careful. Then we played a little bit of Formula D, which was kind of like it's a car racing board game. That's all there is to it, I guess.
If you guys want to see what its Formula D is like, I think also a Pandemic. You can look on the Geek and Sundry. They do a tabletop game show, and Will Wheaton's on that one. They do Pandemic and Formula Day. Plug! Plug, plug, plug.
They're both great games. I highly recommend them to both. So, uh, especially Formula D, that game plays well with two people all the way up to supposedly 10 people, if you can get them. So, but what about you? Other than our board gaming night, what have you been up to?
Let's see. Hey, I did some 40k not 40k, War Machine this week. First time actually playing a large scale 50-point game. Uh, very interesting play. Not used to the big grand competition level. Give it a shot and didn't die horribly, so I'm always happy there.
Well, I guess when you set your expectations low, then you can only go up.
Lower your standards, raise your average.
That is what my wife said when she married me.
Other than that, this is the tail end of my summer semester, so I've been very busy doing projects and stuff that I think actually, depending on how it goes, I may or may not have an entry for Gen Con. We'll see.
Well, we hope you get it done, but real life has to come first over games. Family comes first over games, but yeah, you're doing some beautiful painting, so I'd really like to see you get it finished up and compete with it.
Uh, Gen Con's around the corner, less than 2 weeks away. Um, if any of you out there are watching, are going to Gen Con, there will be a Beast of War meetup, probably Saturday. More details hopefully this week. So we'll see.
So we can't avoid talking about it any longer because everybody else is talking about it, and we can look at it as jumping on the bandwagon, but I would like to think of it more as jumping on the chariot.
So yes, Space Wolves. This is the month of Space Wolves. We've seen the Stormclaw already for release. On pre-order is the Codex and the Dreadnaughts, and then you got something new in the rumor bin, right?
Yeah, let me kick it over here real quick. So, in case you haven't seen it, we'll, we'll take a quick look at it here. So, is this coming up?
You'll have to zoom it in just a little bit there.
That's as good as this picture is getting. So, you almost don't want to see it because you can't unsee it. This is Logan Grimnar on the Space Wolf pulled chariot. A space wolf pulled by space wolves.
I
So
am shocked and amused. This is a very interesting thing. I, it's actually I think one of the first chariots we've seen for a Space Marine army.
it is. You know, we've seen chariots for fantasy armies. We've seen them for chaos armies. This is our first time we've seen something from the Imperium, or really any one of the good guys. The Logan model, if you see it by itself, it looks great. I mean, everything is really well detailed. So, on a technical perspective, I'll take my hat off to him. However, it's such a stupid idea. I mean, obviously, they went with the idea that Thunderwolf Cavalry, you know, Space Wolves riding giant cyber wolves was a great idea, and they went forward with that. So it means that if you bought, the people who are responsible for this is not Games Workshop. The people who are responsible for this travesty of a model is for everyone who has bought the Wolf Lord on Thunderwolf Cavalry model, the Canis Wolfborn model, or any of the new Thunderbolt Cavalry models. If you bought any of those models, you are responsible for this. Because enough people bought those models that Games Workshop said, this is a good idea. Let's keep going.
I'm curious to see how the fluff is on this chariot. I mean, the chariot itself looks like something from the Warhammer Dwarves, something that they would build, and it's hovering, so it's very, very interesting. I mean, I'd love to see fluff-wise how they're going to explain this thing.
Yeah, you don't even really need to explain it. You just say that they have it. You know, 40K is weird enough in all the little doodads that it has out there. You say the universe is big enough that you will always find something. It's inevitable that you find this. But you have wolves pulling the sled, which has a wolf head on it, which has pictographs of wolves, with a guy on top who is a space wolf, who has a lot of wolf iconography on it. You are space wolfing your space wolves to the wolf degree. I mean, I get that they're trying to make it look like a Viking longship, and to a certain extent, yeah, they did. But just because you can make a model doesn't necessarily mean you should. I mean, from a technical perspective, it's great, but oh, it's horrible a joke. I mean,
Uh, I guess we'll have to, if this is going to be coming out in the rumor mill, that means we'll probably see it on pre-order next week and in the Warhammer Weekly. So maybe they'll explain some rules that make it actually worth buying and playing.
you know, I'm not actually worried about the rules being worth it. We've had a few rumors of what it can do, um, and you know, these rumors were from the same people who are actually predicting it coming before we got any pictures. So you could say they're semi-reliable. But GW isn't going to bork the rules for this thing. They're not going to screw it up. They're going to make the rules so utterly fantastic that you're going to have to be an idiot not to take it. Which means that then they're going to sell this kit a million, you know, they're going to sell millions of this kit. which is then going to have the effect of them thinking, hey, this aesthetic is working. Let's push it even further.
Now, the curious thing is this just for the named Lord? I mean, we've seen a lot of kits that are multi-kits, and they'll have a lot of different bits in there. If this is just a one-off, um, customization is going to be down.
Logan Grimnar, who you see riding Chariot, is reportedly moving to the Lord of War slot, and so you'd expect this Chariot to go with him. So it's possible you could put your own Wolf Lord on top of it, but I don't know. GW has been moving more towards. I mean, if you look at a lot of the newer kits they put out, unless it's a multi-kit, they've been taking away customization options.
Yeah, like with
And like,
the Space Marine Librarian, it's just a clamshell blister, and it's only got one pose. I think maybe you can swap out the gun arm. I believe that's the only thing.
and before people started screaming that GW is trying to screw them over, they're doing it. It's happening for a reason. GW is really pushing the bounds of what you can do with plastic, and the problem comes from the fact that you're using a metal mold. When that mold comes together and you shoot your plastic inside of it, that mold then has to come apart, which really limits the amount of design that you can do, especially along the line where the two molds come together. And the way to get around that is to start casting more intricate pieces and to have pieces that interlock with each other in different and unique ways. And so that's how we're able to get. And that's why in the past you've seen wherever mold line is running, it's usually a really low detail area, like along the side of a leg or along a helmet or something like that.
And that's also where 3D rendering comes along as well. Because
Yeah,
you can digitally bisect the whole piece and not have to worry about it before you send it off to the printers.
Yeah, with a digital render, you're able to get a lot smarter about how to chop up your model into individual pieces. And so, really, we should be congratulating them for pushing the boundaries of what you can do with a plastic kit, because I think everybody loves plastic over metal. Not that metal was horrible, but we all like plastic better. But this is the trade-off.
No fault to GW. They make some of the best plastic kits on the market right now. Some of the most beautiful and iconic ones as well.
So, call me a GW apologist, but the guys know what they're doing when it comes to their plastic kits. But speaking of GW and what they can really do with their kits, I want to show you guys another model, or another set. This one is from Forge World. This is part of their 40K or their 30K line. The Gal Warback. You can read into the fluff however you like to. I don't care what army they go to. I don't care what the story is behind them, because these guys are freaking beautiful.
Because these are the guys that from Cadia went into the Eye of Terror and went all the way in and are possessed by many different little demons of the warp.
Yeah, they're definitely like a type of possessed marine. You see they've got horns, they've got claws, but I mean they're just gorgeously done. I mean this is, Forge World at its best right here. I mean, gosh, I wish I didn't have to pay $100 for 5 guys, but this is definitely something you could throw into your 30K without any problem, or you throw into your 40K army. Heck, I play Tau and I want to put these guys in my army. That's how good they look.
So, you can run them as possessed Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah.
Set.
Yeah, and I've seen something like this, where it's so expertly done. I mean, are they over the top? Yes, but they're over the top in a good way. You know, they picked a design element, they've gone with it, and everything that they've done, although it's over the top, it's adhered with that one design element and that theory. And the theory in the beginning isn't stupid, unlike what we've seen with the Chariot. You know? So this is just proving that, once again, that Forge World should actually run GW, not the other way.
And we did see this week with that um, there was a press release on the GW finance report, and the person who is running it is stepping down.
Yeah, he said that he's going to be stepping down. He, this has happened before, but I guess he kind of got dragged back into it. I don't know. Honestly, I'm not a. I think that all of their financial reports are vague enough that you can spin them however you want. GW will spin it positively, and all their critics will spin it negatively. So, but in the end, they're still around. They're not going anywhere for a long, long time. So, but enough about games that suck. Let's talk about good games.
So what do you have in mind?
Uh, Beast of War has been doing their Infinity Week, so they've actually just wrapped it up this week, and they've got a ton of information available about their box set Operation Ice Storm, and about all, and they've been doing a lot of sneak peeks to their new rule set. So the third edition is coming at some point. We're not exactly sure when. My guess is we're going to see it this year, though.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen, like you said, Beast of War did their Infinity Week. I got into Infinity on their first Infinity Week,
And I
so
got in during their second.
yeah, I mean, it's a great thing. And like I said, we did see a lot of stuff from the Operation Ice Storm box. Uh, a lot of changes coming right now, and not really big drastic changes. I see it more of as a cleanup of rules, um, more like an errata, basically. There's some rules out there that are very hard to explain to a new person, and even us old hats have a hard time making sure it's correct.
One of the best examples of that is going to be is how they're changing their combat camo. In the previous edition, if you had a camouflaged figure, you could actually do a surprise attack, come out of camouflage, and basically, Infinity is all about responding to what your adversary does during their turn. But a camo attack negates that and allows you to attack first before the opponent can do anything. And I think maybe that confused people, or that led to a few interesting quirks in the rules. So now coming out of camo, you handle it just the way you would any other time. Only you apply a modifier to the other person, whatever they're doing. If they decide to shoot back, it's -3 to shoot. If they decide to dodge, it's -3 to dodge. And it's, like you said, it's not so much a change, really just kind of a cleanup and streamlining and kind of making it all more organized.
Yeah, it's interesting with that modifiers. They said modifiers can only go up 12 or down 12, and that's the max. I'm not quite sure where we'll see a full 12 modifier on shooting or close combat, but it's nice to know that there's going to be a cap.
You talk about that, and it's actually pretty easy to do that. So what you're looking at right now is their new updated range bands on their charts. So a great way that you could stack a -12 modifier on someone is, let's say that you're coming out of camo, and you're going against a person who has a rifle. Can you see my mouse?
Yes.
Okay, so your opponent has a rifle. So you want to shoot at him from over 32 inches away because you have a sniper rifle. So now, because you're coming out of camo, you're -3. Because they have a rifle, they're -6. So now it's a total of -9. And let's say that even when you're coming out of camo, you're still in cover, which then is another -3 for that person to hit. So with your sniper rifle, while you are, say, you're at a base 12, you're now in your +3 range band, you've now put your opponent at a -12. And in a game where most people are sitting at ballistic skill 11, 12, or 13, that's a pretty hefty modifier to stack. And it's going to be fairly easy to do.
And with that new chart that you're showing off, boarding shotgun got a huge boost to it. There was a lot of complaints in the old forums, which are back. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Shotgun tax. If you have a shotgun on your troop, you're going to get charged a few extra points for it. But now there's a benefit to that. Boarding shotguns and regular shotguns have a +6 in the short band range. That's great.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. So a shotgun is like what you'd expect. A lot of damage really close up. So in the first 8 inches, you get +6 damage, and then it really falls off. Now this is a burst 2, damage 14, which is respectable in the game. Or you also always have the option of just using it as a regular template, which works about the way you think it would do. Whatever you put over the template, you're actually hitting. A couple other interesting things. One problem that people had was with the HMG. They said it was a little too easy to use. It had very large, very favorable range bands. And you can see that's really been chopped down. You actually have a negative range band up close, which is new. This used to be a 0. This was a +3 here, +3, +3, and then you had your -3. So I'm not going to say that they've nerfed it, but they've really changed up the role that your HMG will play in the army now.
Same with the Spitfire as well. Spitfire was like a +3 range from 0 to 36 or something like that, 32. Now it's even had to change to as well.
I'm going to have to double check on that one because I want to say it was always out to 24 because it was never as long range as I wanted. But it certainly could have changed. Rifles and combi rifles have mostly stayed the same. The sniper rifle has changed quite a bit. You see you've got the negative modifier up close, which is the same. A 0 or 8 to 16. And you are +3 all the way up to 48 inches now.
Yeah, you could definitely reach out and touch someone no matter where you are on the board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the sniper rifle kind of fell into the same problem as the boarding shotgun. You were paying more points for it, but it was really hard to use, and you were never quite sure that you were getting a return. So, and so that's just one thing that's changed in the new rules. We've also seen, like I said, combat cannons changing. Specializers are going to change a little bit. I think they're just a little bit of tweaking. And the lieutenant order is going to be changing up quite a bit as well.
Yes, yeah. Before, all right, currently in the rules, using your lieutenant order was always a hidden object. You would use it, but you wouldn't tell anybody. And how's it changed now, Casey?
So now, like you said before, you were able to use it kind of whenever you wanted to. You could use it on your lieutenant or a few other things that your regular orders could do. So there's a lot of ways to hide it. And according to Corvus Belli, they felt like that was kind of cheap. which I think is actually kind of weird of them to say because I've seen videos where they talk about this as a feature and a way to play tactically. But now they feel that it's cheating. So if you want to use your lieutenant order, you now have to declare that you're going to use that lieutenant order, and you also have to tell your opponent which model is your lieutenant. For those of you who don't play Infinity, if you lose your lieutenant, for whatever reason, typically through a bullet, it's fairly impactful to the rest of your army. It can actually swing an entire game. So, you're
But Lost Lieutenant has changed. Before, when you started your game turn at Lost Lieutenant, you only had 2 orders to use. That was just to assign a new lieutenant, and then that was it. But with the new, what we've seen now is on a Lost Lieutenant situation, you assign a new lieutenant, everybody becomes a regular. So it's not quite as nerfing, or it's a boost for that incidental part of the game when your commander gets one in the brain.
okay. So, but isn't that the way that the old religious what used to work?
Yes, so that's how religious worked. So we're going to see probably a change with how religious troops work. Maybe they add to the pool now. We'll
Or
find out.
maybe you just get to ignore your lost lieutenant. You still get all those as regular orders. I, I don't know. We don't know. So, but yeah, that could change things. It's still going to hurt you, but yeah, it sounds like it won't be quite as game shattering. So, but as we find out more about Infinity, we'll let you guys know about it. And I don't know, we might actually, once we start getting enough of these to get a good picture of how it's going to change, we might just do a whole Infinity episode and just really dig deep into it. Maybe talk about how it changed lists and how the game is going to function differently.
Maybe
But that's
we'll be
another
able to
matter for
get
another day.
maybe we'll be able to get one of the Infinity gurus on the show.
I thought you were an Infinity guru.
But I'm not one of the Infinity gurus.
Okay, so what's up next?
Uh, this week we saw not much this week. Gen Con's right around the corner. A lot of companies are holding back on big news and releases. But I believe you were telling me Hawk War Games actually put up their Resistance Starter this week.
Yep, here we go. So there's still previews for it. A lot of sneak peeks of different weapons, or I'm sorry, different units. Like we saw the drop ships, we saw the main battle tanks, but now we get to see everything in all of its ugly glory, I guess. Um,
Oh, those look beautifully painted. I give props to whoever did that. I mean, 10 or 15 mil, real hard to pull off. Those look amazing.
yeah, they really do. And they're gorgeous models to boot. The idea that you can get this much detail in a 15 millimeter model is insane. Um, so yeah, we get the whole look. It's kind of a ramshackle army, that of the Resistance. So if you want to get into them, this is the starter box that we'll be looking at. So you'll have 2 drop ships, some kind of vehicle, hover vehicle that can transport vehicles, and of course your troops and your APCs and your battle tanks. It's not a doesn't look like a fully fleshed out army like you do with some of the others, but at the same time you definitely have enough there to get you up and start playing. So I'm really excited to see this come out and to see what other models will start coming out for the Resistance because everything so far for Drop Zone Commander has been really sleek and really pretty, whereas this is kind of a new, gritty, dirty faction. So we're seeing Drop Zone Commander go in a new direction, and I like it.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to talk to talk to them here soon at Gen Con. I know that I have them on my list of people to talk to just because. So we'll see.
And hopefully I'll eventually get around to actually painting my box set that's been sitting in my closet for almost a year.
This guy drives me nuts having all those unfinished miniatures.
Oh, I I wish that I could just hit it all with a can of spray paint and maybe some wash and call it done, but I won't allow myself to paint like that. I can't. I wish I could. Who knows? I'm about ready to call it, though. So, of course, you could always paint it up for me. Are you volunteering?
Are you asking for a commission?
No, you're gonna do it out of the goodness of your heart because you love seeing painted miniatures on the table.
Yeah, we'll see.
Baking zucchini bread.
Anything else on the list? Case.
Like you said, we're coming up to Gen Con here in a couple of weeks, and so stuff has started to quiet down a little bit, at least from the big companies. So there's a few smaller Kickstarters going on that we're still investigating. We don't want to talk to you guys about it unless we know about it, because we will research everything, as in like 30 minutes before the show, right? I mean, not like that. So, but yeah, hopefully we're going to have a lot more information for you guys during Gen Con. So, but that's it from me.
All right. That's it for me as well. Thank you guys for watching. We do have a Facebook page. The link is down in the description below. If we get 100 likes, we will run a contest. So, share it with your friends. Like this video. Comment. Tell us what you want to hear, what you want to see. Tell us where we went wrong. We love hearing about that.
Because we, more often than not, we are wrong. And also a reminder, this is a live show. So even though you just see me and Wild Chevy talking here, you guys are always welcome to jump on board and join in with the conversation. We would like to hear what you think as well.
All right. And on that note, we'll wrap it up. I've been Wild Chevy.
I'm the Rocket Yeti.
You guys have a good night and happy wargaming.